Welcome to The Lab, the podcast where we deep dive into the events, the people, and the culture behind Mandurah and Perth's newest music scene. Anele, first episode, dude.
First episode, Jason. I'm happy to be doing it, man. You know, I remember last year when we did that other podcast, Monkey See, Monkey Do, that you kicked off again recently.
Yeah, man.
It went so well, so we're super excited to be working alongside you with the Lab podcast, man.
Dude, I'm happy to be here hosting it. And for anyone tuning in, so this podcast, we're basically going to talk about the events that's happening, the ones that we'll talk about very shortly, the music events, some things to look forward to in the future, and, man, just kick back and just talk about the music behind everything and the DJs that we have. So I think you'll be the best person to describe what the Lab is and what you've been doing so far, dude.
Exactly. So the Lab is basically a music event that we're trying to showcase different local artists and different semi-established artists as well throughout the Mandurah and Perth region. But we're really trying to focus in on allowing the artists that we work with to really showcase their individual styles, you know, as opposed to situations where they might feel restricted in what they can play creatively, well aligned in that kind of platform to showcase exactly what it is that they want to do, you know.
Yeah.
What we tell everyone when we start working with them is like, imagine that you're playing for your mates at a house party or playing in your bedroom where you have full creative freedom. That's exactly what we're after.
Yeah, because we had a conversation before about kind of the staleness that's happened in Mandurah, and I think you know, most of the smaller towns in WA, and we were like, it's missing something, and so from that you went from having this conversation to you're two big events deep now.
Yeah, things have been going really well. Yeah, because I think when was it when we had the last podcast? Was it before October last year? Or?
Dude, it would have been a while ago. I was traveling for 3 months. So
I was very jealous looking at all the clips of you traveling, man. But yeah, so it really kicked off with, we had a bit of like a boat party just to kind of get used to the operational side of things and organising these events. And then slowly from there, we had the first official Lab event, which was like in a studio. With the Mandurah Studio C, which was a really good, and straight away from the reception we got there, we could tell that, you know, like we were saying, people could kind of see that staleness, and as soon as there was something new, changing it up and showcasing different sounds and new faces as well, that people were engaged straight away.
Sounds, just a nice little boat rocking down there, like, you know, I wish that was us recording on a boat.
Nice Sunday morning, you know, one day.
So you've packed out bar therapy here in Mandurah for 2 events now.
2 events, yeah.
The pictures look insane. I was away for the first one and then back to work the day that you did the second one.
The timing wasn't there, hey?
But yeah, then you reached out and we were just talking about being able to have something in between those events where we can bring people backgrounds of the artists, backgrounds of the DJs that you have, the culture that you guys are building. And who is involved with the Lab? Like, I know there's 4 of you, right?
Yep. So with the 4 directors within the Lab, there's myself, there's my brother Andy, aka Chiller, behind the decks. There's our man Chiz, the creative director, Charles Giltro. Then we also have Adam, Leeds boy, who, when Adam and I DJ in our back-to-back, we call ourselves the other side because we get to showcase the other side that's just different from our individual styles. So we're all very like-minded in what we're trying to achieve for the music scene, and we all know so many different musicians and DJs, artists, and so straight away we're like, okay, well, let's try do something where we're kind of getting all these different people together, and then giving them that free platform to showcase exactly what it is that they want to showcase.
Because if you look on the other side of that, the events and the DJs who are in, especially here in Mandurah, they almost have like such strict rules of what you can play. Like, hey, I want you to mix up the Oasis, and then I want you to just chuck in like Come On Eileen. And it's not, it works for maybe a throwback evening.
Exactly,
But in terms of a nightlife and bringing people just some excitement to go out again, and to hear some music where they actually want to dance. And not because it's just been bred that this is the music that you're going to listen to. Like, we spoke before about, you know, I grew up in the UK, so my music scene was far different to here. And I haven't even wanted to go to like a pub after like 10 o'clock because it's just like, I just don't want to listen to that music. Like, it's like 20-year-old music, dude. Like, you know, this is Umbrella by Rihanna. Like, it's only so many times I can hear that.
And there's always a time and a place, but there's always an excitement about going to a new venue and hearing really good music, different music, And that excitement is what's always going to be drawing people back as well. And as soon as people start hearing the music going, straight away they're going to be, moving and grooving, locked on the dance floor. And especially being something new in Mandurah as well, I think it starts off with a couple of different people hearing about it, then they invite their friends and their friends, and I think that's why it's just happened to grow as fast as it has so far.
Yeah, it's been insane. Like I've been tracking before we spoke about launching the podcast to coincide with the events. I saw like posts and the videos of the actual events themselves. They look insane.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out, check out the Instagram. I'll link it after this episode.
Yeah.
And just the videos. It's exciting. Like you look at it and you just feel the vibe of people that are there, and I cannot wait to actually come to one of the events when I'm around. So
soon, man, soon we're going to be announcing the next event very soon. So stay tuned to the lab.perth on Instagram.
Sick.
But it's like you're saying about how some of the artists can feel constricted at times in regards to what they can play, and that kind of has that transfers over to the crowd as well, because they're going to be watching and wanting to engage with the DJ, and they get a sense that, are they just playing what they're told to play, or do they have full creative freedom and playing what they want to play?
Because they're doing what they love, and if you're doing something that you love to people and they're there because of that, like you feel that it transfers. Like I wouldn't, I can't DJ, but I can only imagine that if you were to do something that you truly love and someone puts these parameters on you, they're like, I only want you to play this. Yeah. Like that's going to dampen your love for it. And then you're not going to get you're not going to get your full creative style and the impact that you could have if you've got these reins on you. It's just not going to work. It's like telling, an artist loves to paint landscapes. You're like, cool, I want you to paint my face. It's like, I don't do that. It's like, well you paint.
Can't be doing them once.
So we threw a couple of ideas around when we first sat down and we were like, we're going to record a podcast. And one of them I'm really excited for is not just this, but the idea of bringing in artists to live stream when we're not in events.
Exactly.
And that idea for me, I think is awesome.
Exactly. Because we know that in between our events, there's always going to be these time frames where we know the DJs are there doing that thing, jamming out. So we thought, let's try to get something together as well to stream it on these different platforms and everything like that. Let's say it's a Friday night, Saturday night, you're getting around with your friends, having a little breeze or something like that, then straight away just popping that on in the background. It's already going to be a familiar face. Eventually it's going to be an artist that you may have seen an interview or a podcast episode with them, and you're going to know a little bit about their style. So you're going to be super engaged as well when you're watching them in that stream as well.
I think that idea of just reaching into someone's house party and being there when you're not physically doing events is something that isn't really hit on. But it's better than just playing a playlist, man. Like you might have your favorite songs, and also if you do that at a house party, then you don't get that one guy that's like, no, my playlist is the best. Like I'm putting my phone on. Like everyone knows someone who does that. It's like, no, I'm that guy.
Everyone has it up, mate. Hey, gonna be no pointing fingers or nothing,
Yeah, it's no one's fault. If you play a bad tune, it's on the DJs, man.
Just drop a comment on the stream, brother.
That's his comment. And if you are listening and you're not watching the podcast today, we are outside in the beautiful town of Mandurah. We're sat by the canals here, so you will hear some wind, you will hear the wildlife, and our friends in the background there. But the reason that we decided to do it here and to showcase what's around is because that's something that you're trying to do with the music. Like we have this beautiful town and these people who are dying to get out and have a good time. Exactly. And you guys have gone, well, you know what, we're going to make it happen in our town because we're sick of asking for it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, what we saw it as, alongside the other directions, is opportunity. It's just an opportunity to offer something different. And change is always a little bit good. It's always good for the culture as well. So we thought, okay, let's come through and produce these different sounds at these different events and everything like that. So that's really the route that we're going towards.
Yeah. I love the fact that you guys have done this because something is missing. There's no better people to push forward an idea and to change the way things are currently are when it's just done from a pure place of love. We have amazing artists, amazing DJs, and none of them are getting the space and the respect that is currently deserved in the music scene. And you guys have gone, you know what, we'll just make it ourselves. We'll create a platform.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even so far as well, as we've been working with these great venues as well, like Bar Therapy, Studio C, they've been super receptive and understand what it is that we're trying to achieve. and they've been super on board to work alongside us as well, because essentially it's all about just creating that sense of community and culture. And it's been amazing that the venues have been open to having us, and especially from their point of view, something new. But as soon as we started to build these relationships with them, things have been perfect. And we're going to be very excited to work alongside them moving forward as well, and getting more artists, different artists involved, getting some artists from Perth coming down as well.
I saw that on the last event. Yeah, Notorious MAD, right?
Yes. So every time we're going to be changing up the lineup with each event as we evolve. You know, sometimes artists may go out and do some other things, then eventually we get them back. So we knew that we wanted to get another artist within the Mandurah area that had been DJing for some time, but hadn't really done as many of like a in-venue event.
Yeah.
So we're kind of brainstorming on one of our Zoom calls, and we're like, oh, it was a no-brainer when Charles and I realized we can go to Maddie.
Yeah.
So we sent her a message. She was super on board, and it was amazing. You should have been there for it.
I saw her the short clip you have on Instagram with the drop.
Yeah. Her energy is contagious. Yeah, dude. As an amazing person.
She is vibing on those decks.
Man, and her amazing personality transfers perfectly when she's behind the decks, smiling, dancing, engaging the crowd. It was beautiful to see. Even her sister Carly went up beside her while she was mixing as well. It was just a beautiful moment like that. Hey, that's really good to see.
Do you find that, like, when you get these artists from elsewhere and you bring them here and you go, we're not giving you parameters here. We want you here to be your whole self.
Yeah.
Do you find that all of their energies are just transferring and matching that? Because some of these people might have been just, cramped for so long, for lack of a better word.
It's just like you said, they may get, accustomed to working within those set parameters. So all of a sudden when those parameters are gone, then there's just that full freedom, creative freedom, and then they're just super on board, and you can tell that's why they just have a stellar set.
Yeah.
And it's always amazing engaging the crowd and everything.
That is awesome. Someone's birthday on the water behind us as well. Happy birthday.
The Sunday session is on.
But yeah, I mean, what's wonderful about what's happened so far is that people have been so receptive of it.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys have done this because you're the only ones who thought that. Mandurah specifically, because that's where you kind of prioritize at the moment, and as time goes on, we'll get further up to that city. But but I've seen the interactions with your socials, and people are talking about it, and you guys have just hit the ground running. And it seems that everyone is just stoked that someone's finally done it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Even like after every event, we should start recording these moments where Charles and I are sitting down after at my place, and we're just like, oh my God, after all the trials and tribulations, organizing everything, like even the other Friday, the last event we had, the weather was going to be an issue, but it cleared up perfectly for us. And after whenever we're sitting and just recapping over the night and the event, it's just so amazing how things have turned out, and the reception and the engagement, and like you're saying, it shows that people have been wanting something different, and they're supporting something different, supporting these new up and coming artists and showcasing their styles, which is just that feedback loop has just been amazing, and it encourages us as well to keep going and keep pushing further, just scaling up the events, getting more artists involved. As why not?
And for anyone listening, do you guys seek out these people, or are you encouraging people to come to you and be like, hey, show us your style, we'd love to put you on a platform?
Yeah, it's probably, I'd say 50-50, because half of the time on our Instagram page and everything, we're just encouraging artists to come out there, check out the pirate ship. How about that, hey?
That's a perfect little break.
Mate, the paid actor.
When are we doing an event on that?
Oh, hey, you could be onto something there.
It's mandatory that everyone dresses as a pirate. Like,
oh, got to. All with the hats and everything, Jack. Dress up as Jack Sparrow, bro.
Anyway, sorry, we were talking about
getting the artists engaged. Yeah. So we usually have our posts up on Instagram and everything like that, just encouraging artists just to send us a bit of a description about them, send us a mix.
Yeah.
But then as well as that, every now and again, as we're always going around listening to music on SoundCloud as well, sometimes we reach out to these artists. So I'd probably say it's really 50-50. And if anyone's listening and wants to get involved, and just message us on Instagram, the lab.perth on Instagram, and we're always receptive. We've got a big list of spreadsheet where we drop all the artists who want to be involved with us, keeping track of it. So when the opportunity does arise, and bam, we get them in, get to hear them, and it's always beautiful to see as well, as just the joy and excitement.
Yeah.
When we actually meet up with them prior to the event, the excitement there, then seeing them on the day, maybe a little bit anxious, then it's beautiful when they as soon as they get behind the decks, 5 minutes into it, that's when they just completely in that element, and it is just amazing to see. Hey,
because I don't have a background in being a DJ or anything like that. So, I mean, what's kind of the process there, the learning process? Like, is it just hours spent at home, just kind of refining your style, finding your way around it, and then like, do you approach bars? Like, are you trying to put yourself out? Like, how does it work before you guys have kind of set this new way of doing it?
Mm-hmm. I'll say if you're trying to, because from what I saw, because initially before the events is when I was kind of doing just the Mamba Experience mixed series, where from there just kind of that was my way of kind of getting comfortable and increasing my experience behind the decks and trialing out different genres to figure out what I enjoy playing. Then eventually that's when I found that kind of Afro fusion and tech house is what I really enjoyed and what I saw my strength in regards to mixing different styles and a bit of junglist drum and bass as well for anyone who was at the last event.
Dude, as soon as I started hearing you playing those tunes, I just started sending songs to Chiz. I'm just like, dude, these are songs I listen to. Like, check these out.
Yes.
And so that's the Mamba Experience on SoundCloud?
The Mamba Experience on SoundCloud, yeah. So that was my way of kind of, getting into the space. Then from there, it really is just kind of contacting a lot of these venues to say, okay, do you guys have any opportunities coming up? But the biggest thing is if you don't already have like a foothold or someone within the space, it's very tricky, and it's a very competitive space. There's a lot of people, really super talented artists out there. So at times it can be challenging and can take a while to get those opportunities. So we essentially wanted to create a different avenue where, now we are having this event. If you're someone who wants to be involved, you can get involved. And as we rotate around and move around to all these different venues and everything like that. So exactly like you said, it's just a different avenue to allow the artists to showcase their talents, really.
And now, asking you a question, not as the artist, put the director hat back on. So you guys are not just stopping at this idea of having events based around DJs and that kind of stuff. You have other plans as well for different vibes, right?
Exactly. Because we want to, essentially, we're just trying to cater to showcasing the arts at the end of the day. That's our growth goal. So right now we're really doubling down on the DJs, but eventually, I mean, just think about the amount of amazing, guitar players, singers,
and they're
rappers.
a lot. And as you said, it's the same. I imagine it's the same journey for the DJ, right? You build years on this talent, and you're just trying to get into a spot where you're just like, come on, man, like,
And so especially for us, especially since we're always, the other directors and I are always out and about, meeting people on nights out and everything like that. We have these conversations with these artists, and that's when we get them on board, and they're on board as well with the idea for the event. So just for that additional platform. So eventually we want to go into these more, what's going to be acoustic sessions or something like that. Just to give them a different events to be playing at as well, because they're so talented and I don't think any community will ever not want to go to all these different events showcasing different sounds.
Why wouldn't you? Faces, music is at the heart of, like, as people and where we've come from, like, music is the heart of it, everything. Exactly, like going back to African percussion, you know what I mean? So and so I think that's in everyone. Like that music just makes people happy. Like it makes you move. Like, sometimes you can't even control it. You're like, I'm jigging here. So
exactly. Even our brother right now on the jet ski, he's got his boombox going on. Music moves the people, man.
Motivation. Like when you're cleaning the house or whatever, like you need to put something on. Like,
and it's such a different experience with the different genres that you're going to be playing. Like you're saying, you're going to be playing different music when you're doing different things, and that's why it's something else that we want to cater within our events, just having these completely different, sometimes we want to get people dressing up a little bit proper, getting a cocktail event going on with some acoustics in the background. Because, we don't have enough opportunities for people to be dressing up, getting suited up. Dude, the ladies getting that cocktail dresses and that, so we're trying to offer that.
I have to agree. I have, in the UK, when I was going out, like, I enjoyed wearing, like, suit pants, man. Suit pants and a shirt, like, going somewhere, because I'm usually probably overdressed when I go somewhere, because I still have that style, man. I bought white suit pants recently, and I'm dying to wear them.
Brave.
I know. I bought white suit pants. I have a brown shirt. Like, I'm dying. Like, give me an event.
Exactly,
like, I'll be there.
Bro. We know too many of the fellas, bro. The man them are waiting to wear that loafers at.
with the low socks. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
So you have all this planned. Is there a website coming? Is that on the way so people can like check and see what's going to be happening?
Exactly. Just because at the moment we're working on a lot of just laying the foundations and systems for a lot of these different projects that we want to move into. So that's why we'll formulate Charles, our creative director, the genius, is working on the website. So that's going to be out soon. Just as essentially a one-stop shop for the artist mixes, for the event details, for tickets, for photos, for videos, for podcasts, interviews, everything like that. And any updates on upcoming information and everything like that as well. Because at the moment, we'll still be having it on these other different platforms and everything like that. But just for the sake of making it nice and easy, it's also going to be just streamlined if it's just on the one website.
Makes it easier for people. And I mean, that is the key as well. Just making it simple for people. Like, how do I get to one of your events? Like, how do I let my hair down and put on a cocktail? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because although people may see the Instagram stories and Facebook stories here and there, but if they just know the one-stop shop to find for the next update, that's exactly what we're trying to get figured out right now. So it's going to be coming soon, the website.
Hell yes. And now a question for the artist. What's it like when you perform at these events and you've put all this work in and you line up on the decks and you see these people and you're finally like something that you've created, you get to stand there. And also, you know, sometimes you build a business and it's like a cafe, for example, like you get so long where nothing's really happening and you have to work, but you not only get to create this, you get to take part in it as well because you're a DJ.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's pretty surreal. And throughout the night, you know, it goes through moments of like just standing there like a proud dad after mowing the lawn, seeing like, okay, the event's going on well. 5 minutes later, I've been like, oh snap, I got to play, I got to be ready. Yeah. But it's just having that confidence and leading up to a set, I usually just like try to get, I'm sure it will be very similar for the other artists as well. Just getting like a creative idea in the head of how the direction that they want the individual set to go. Then it's just having confidence in that idea than just doubling down on it. Then on the day, there's no better feeling than, you know, personally, I'm always a little bit anxious since with the very like Afrofusion sounds I play and the very tribal Afro tech I play, it's not heard of that often in these venues that I played at. So in my head, I'm always a little bit anxious, like, oh, what's the reception going to be? But like you said last time in the last podcast we did, hey, those African drum patterns get people locked in, moving and grooving, you know, hips start moving and they're locked in having a good time. So it's always amazing to see the reception. I always say, like, you know, after the first 2 songs, it may be a little bit stiff and awkward, but after you get that, as soon as you see the DJ moving, that's when you can tell they are in the mix and having a good time.
I think there's like, it feeds the crowd, doesn't it? Because like, I've been to events before and the DJ is just like, flick my phone and then I'll just do this and I'll just flick my phone. You're like, that isn't giving me what I came here for.
Exactly.
And you see that video of Mads. And
shutting
she
it down.
is rocking.
Exactly. And her crowd control is always amazing as well. And the really beauty about like seeing her working as well, man, is like she's so experienced. She plays at a lot of these like within the doof scene.
The doof.
So it was great to see her slightly alter her sound to staying true to the sounds that she's usually playing at these doofs, but also making it a bit more house centric for the event that we're going for last time. So it was beautiful to see that happen, and like you're saying, as soon as she's moving and grooving, the crowd is moving and grooving.
It just gives you permission to, right? You're like, it's cool, like, because the DJ becomes that first person, you know, you're on a dance floor, like, there always needs to be that one person that's just like, fuck it.
Exactly, set pace.
And so what's the goal for the podcast? So we're going to be interviewing artists and DJs that are on the roster. We are hopefully going to be in and around the places that we're going to be running events in, so people can get a feel for it before they come, especially if they're traveling to come to these events. So we're hoping to show you the locations that we're going to be at, the artists that we're working with, a taste of like the music. Is there anything that you see us kind of doing? Anything that's like an idea floating around?
I think definitely one of the main things as well is going to be the most exciting thing I'm excited about for this podcast is going to be hearing the stories from up-and-coming artists who are about to be involved with. And giving them more than just a platform to come and DJ, but giving them somewhere where they can
talk about their story, their style, and everything that's happened before it.
Because everyone, like you said, there's the hours that have put in.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to hear about. What kind of things did they go through and led to them being in the position that they're in now to pursue the arts, essentially. Because it's always anyone who pursues the arts in any form, or business owners or anything like that, it takes a lot of confidence within yourself and your craft, and there's so much that can be learned about hearing different people's stories within that, and it's going to be amazing to hear the stories that have come in the podcast from the new artists that we get. I can't wait, man.
Like, it's going to be really good. I think someone wants to sign up on the roster, dude. It's going to be short and sweet today. We just wanted to set an episode where we can kind of just tell people what to expect from here and from the events, where to find some of the information, and anything else to say before we check out?
Oh, the only thing I have to say is thank you so much for being on board, Jason.
My pleasure,
I'm looking forward to seeing the more episodes that you have to come on the Monkey See, Monkey Do podcast as well.
Thank you for the cheeky plug. All right, we'll catch you soon with some more artists, some more updates and everything else. Peace.
Take it easy, guys.